The only one that does not is the important one, and that's the signal wire. It has to go straight to the PCM by itself. It can't have anything connected to it. So the sensor here, your TPS, it has to go from that sensor straight to the PCM. And nothing else can be connected to it. So that's the only one. So if you don't remember any about the colors or where they go, if you find one that goes straight to the computer, that's the one you want. That's the signal wire. And that's the one you're going to test. Okay? So this is going to be your, if you're looking up in the scan tool, the PID, TPS is created from this single wire. Okay? Does that make sense so far? Okay? So sometimes, like I said, if you have electronic throttle, you may see this on your wiring diagram. You may see the throttle position sensor here, and you may see two wires connected straight to the computer. Again, the signal wires have to be separate. They cannot be connected at all, even inside the sensors. Okay? So TPS-A, TPS-B. So what you can do is, if you want to figure out which is another way, instead of just looking at the diagram, you can unplug it, leave the key on, and then test each wire individually. So you'll see here, if you unplug it, you'll see your 5 volts there, and you'll see your 0 volts there if you're using a multimeter. Question? Yeah.
Would there only be 2 wires going to the PCM, or is there multiple other wires?
From the TPS?
Yeah.
No, there's only 2 that will go straight to the PCM. Yeah. The other ones, like the signal return, it will also go back to the computer,
But it connects to other.
but all the others will connect to it, and then it'll go back. Yep. Yep. Good question. Same as 5-volt reference, this will come out of the PCM, but then it'll go all over the place. Yeah. Good question. Yep. So the main one you're looking for is the signal wire, either on the scan tool or your DVOM, your digital volt ohm meter. So you can check it that way if you just want to see which one's a 5-volt reference and then which one's the ground. Okay, once you have those 2 out of the way, the one that you're going to actually test is going to be either of these 2. Okay, if you're doing a 3-wire one, it's just going to be your signal wire. Okay. So on your sheet there.
And on the scan tool, it'll say the 5 volt.
Yeah, so I was going to say the scan tool depends on the scan tool, but sometimes you'll see, like TPS, and it may give you percent. Something like that. You can use percent, but it's not as good. It's not as what's the word?
Accurate?
Useful. It's not as useful because sometimes 0 to 100%, this may be what we call an inferred value. And what that means is the computer is substituting a value in for something it either has or has not received. And that could burn you. Because sometimes if you have a bad wire or something's unplugged, the computer will just substitute its own value in there to keep the engine running. And you don't know if it's a fake value or not. So it's better if you can find the one that has volts. And what would you expect to see, say, at idle on your TPS voltage from the scan tool, if it's an actual value? Less than 1. So usually it's 0.5 to 1 volt or so. 0.5 to 1 at idles, so it depends. Could be 0.8, 0.9, 1 volt. GMs like 1 volt, so that's what usually you'll see, 1 volt at idle.
Would they ever go less than 0.5?
Yeah, sometimes. In Nissan, sometimes you'll see 0.3. Yeah, it just depends on the manufacturer, but the main thing is less than 1 volt. Yeah. Yeah. So you might see, I'll put 0.3 just in case. But very low, 0.3 to 1 volt. Okay, and then wide open throttle, what do you want to see? Yeah, close to 5, so I'll put 4 to 5. Again, 5 is going to be the max because, remember, right here, that's the voltage going to the sensor. That's all it has to work with. So that's all it can output. Okay, so remember that. If you see something on the test that says TPS 12 volts, no, that's not possible because it only has the 5. Okay? So remember that, it only has 5 volts, so that's the max it can put out, even at wide open throttle. Okay, so on your sheet, what I'm looking for is, obviously it gives you kind of a generic diagram there, but you're going to find a vehicle, and it really doesn't matter, they all have TPS sensors, they have to. You're going to look at wire 1, 2, and 3, which that's these wires here. You're just going to write the color and the purpose. Okay, what do I mean by purpose?
Like what sensor does it? Or what?
No, we're just dealing with one sensor.
Or
What's the purpose?
The signal ground or reference.
Yeah, this here. So I would write 5 volt reference as my purpose. It goes to the sensor. Signal, that's all you need to write, just signal.